So I have already drawn out the bird onto the canvas and given it a coat of acrylic medium and some raw umber to give it an imprimatura that I can paint onto rather than painting on white canvas. And just putting in some little details, relevant details here with the Payne's grey only and this small brush. And I'm going to be using a palette of titanium white, Payne's grey, raw umber, burnt sienna, yellow ochre, transparent yellow, transparent red, and a little bit of phthalo blue. Okay, so back to the just small brush here. It doesn't have to really be a small brush. I'm not doing details here for this. I'm just putting in some basic shapes really, so I don't lose them when I paint over them. Because I've already painted over them once with the raw umber, and they are becoming a little bit lost, the shapes and the details. Although this isn't going to be a detailed painting, it's going to be abstract background, impressionism for most part, and a little bit of detail in the bird itself. Okay, let that dry, and then a quick spray of water, a mist spray of water, and with my 1-inch bristle flat brush I can start laying in the background and some of these relevant colours to give me the contrasts that I want and the colouring, the basic colouring that I want. And it's a very useful brush, this is, for doing all sorts of work. It's amazing just how much you can do with this one brush. So I'll put some darks down here as well into this area. And then I'll start to add a little bit of different colour variation by adding a little bit of white and yellow ochre. I can create a bit of a greenish tone with that Payne's grey. And I'll make it a bit lighter here and there for this area that it's standing on. A bit of burnt sienna now into that. Just here and there. Now with a smaller brush, I'll just put some of these darks back in. I can start to put in a little bit more of the features of the bird. And I'm only putting in the basic colouring, the basic tones of the painting. And this is done quickly so that I can actually blend while the paint is wet. It's just the basic tones. Because this is the messy stage. I like this to be extremely messy, the first stage, and then the second stage I paint over the top. So this is the messy first stage, first layer. It's a painting in layers. So I'll just put these lights in here where I think they should be, the highlights. Like that, and a few little other bits here and there. You can see how it looks like oils when you're blending because all the paint is still wet. I just sign my name in the bottom corner there while the painting is still wet. And then with a little mist spray of water and my silicone tool, my catalyst silicone tool, I can start to mess this up and make it really blended and messy. If it's not moving, if it's started to dry, a little spray of water will keep it alive. Now these tools that I'm using, the brush or this silicone tool and the paints, I've left links in the description below. So if you're interested in purchasing those, then if you use those links, you'll be helping to support me and my channel. And that helps me to keep bringing you these videos. I'll also let you know that I also have a subscription, or membership tier rather, on YouTube. A very, very cheap one. It's just for the price of a cup of coffee. It's just generally to support me in my YouTube endeavours. And for that you will actually receive notification of these videos before anybody else sees them. You will have the ability to watch them before anybody else. You have priority. So that's one option you can use there in my membership tier, my support membership tier. Okay, I'm just putting some work into this background now. It's all wet still. And if you find it starting to dry on you, then a little mist spray of water with the mist water sprayer will just help to keep it wet. You see how I did that there? Just a little spray, and then I can move it around with the catalyst once again. This time, because I'm going over an existing messy layer, it's going on a little bit smoother now. It's starting to look blended and a bit more like oils. And I can paint with this tool as well. Pick paint up off the palette and paint with it, like that. It produces some lovely effects, a bit like a painting knife. But it's got more variety, I think, than a painting knife, that tool. Okay, now I'm starting work with this smaller bristle brush. It's a cheap bristle brush. It's a bit worn, and that's how I like them. And you can keep the paint wet using that mist spray, and it should be a mist spray. So you can paint with it like oils and blend, as you can see me doing here with this now. And I bought my sprayer from a garden centre, just a cheap garden centre mist spray. And it does the job admirably. Because many years ago I was at a game fair, and I was demonstrating in a marquee on quite a damp, wet, drizzly day. And I was painting with acrylics inside the marquee, and the paint would not dry. Several hours went by and it would still not dry. It was still all wet completely. So that was like a eureka moment for me. I thought, this is how you keep acrylics wet. If you want to work with them like oils, use a mist spray just to keep the paint moist and damp. Not wet, not running, just moist and damp. And you can just keep working at it and working at it until you're happy with it. Then you can dry it off with a hairdryer quickly, and then you can get on with the next layer. So I do get a lot of people saying, how do you keep your paints wet and how do you blend with acrylics? It's really very, very easy if you keep one of these mist sprayers handy and don't let the paint dry. You do have to use it a few times during a painting, not all the time, not in between every brushstroke. It will take a while for the paint to dry anyway, because I'm not using water with the paint. These are straight out of the tube, straight squirted into these little pans that I've got in this little fishing tackle box thing that I use to hold my paint. Now, I only ever use water to thin the paint if I'm doing some very fine detail work. So certain areas will be much thinner paint. Certain areas will be thicker paint. So like these really dark areas here I'm doing are quite thick paint. And because there's no water added and it's thick paint, the paint will take ages to dry anyway. So I'm just putting a little bit of that tail in there and the wing. And now I need to get this leg correct. Like that. Now I'm going to put the feet in there, have an orangey kind of tone to them. So I'll put a base orange colour in there. Like that. Now that leg on the right will only have light hitting the lower portion because that other part is in shadow. Think about your light source. The lighting is important in any painting. It's one of the most important things. And the contrast. You see how I've got the light bird there against the dark background, and I've got some of the darker parts of the bird against the lighter part of the background. See, that background is nice and abstract. And the foreground and parts of the bird are impressionistic, and the bird itself is going to be relatively detailed. So I'll just put some of these markings in, these distinctive markings that the bird has. It's a beautiful little bird, this goldfinch. I did see one in a wood a few years ago, and it was beautiful. Absolutely tiny little thing. Such a flash of colour as it flits around. A couple of highlights in and around those eyes there. Make sure I've got the shape of the eyes correct. A bit of a highlight on the nose there, on the little beak. So really I can start messing and fussing now with this little brush. Not doing too much with it, really. I'm not going crazy and trying to do every little feather with this brush. I used the splayed bristle technique to do that. And I use a worn brush, this brush, splay the bristles. And then you can paint loads of little fine lines in one go. So you might need to add a little bit of water to the paint for this area, for this type of thing. Make it thin so that it comes off the brush a little bit easier. Just making a greenish tone there now, just to put in some of this moss on this area. In this area, I'll do some on the right hand side as well, like that. Remember, I'm trying to keep this impressionist, so I don't want to do too much in the way of detail in all this area. Blend with your finger. Back to the fine line brush now, the small brush. Just to put in a couple of little lighter areas with a bit more accuracy on the head, because the head is where the detail is going to be, the real detail, and that's where I want the viewer's eye to concentrate. So I'll just change the shape now, get it a bit more accurate of the bird by painting the background in, and then wet my finger to blend that in. And I'll put some highlights on the legs, remember only in the lower portion of that leg because the sunlight is only hitting that part. And these are little dots of light I'm putting in. You notice I'm not doing every little toe and foot and claw detailed. It's not realistic. It's to give the impression of the feet, not a realistic rendering. And that's most important. I'm going to go with an old worn bristle fan brush now to put in some of these mosses and foliage areas here. A little bit of phthalo blue added to that yellow ochre gives a lovely green. I need to add some cadmium yellow and white now just to make this a brighter green. You can see how to use that brush. It does all sorts of random effects, random brush strokes. Beautiful. You can't paint like that with a normal brush. I'll put some little dots of light here and there, just to show the light catching on one or two little things in all that foliage. Now I'm using the splayed bristle technique again. This old worn nylon brush pressed into the paint, press the heel right into the paint so that it, like that, so that it splays those bristles. And if the paint is liquid enough, wet enough, you can paint these lovely fine lines all in one go, loads of them in one go, instead of having to do hundreds of tiny little marks. Make the brush do the work. That's what they're there for. Not to look pretty. I've got a, you know, this used to be a pointed brush, used to come to a point. It doesn't anymore. But I use it in every single painting that I do. Don't ever throw a brush away. I've got hundreds. I've never thrown a brush away ever, unless it was actually broken. So you can see how you can build up all these little fine lines with this brush. Layer by layer, building it up. What I mean by layer is, once that layer is dry, I go over it doing a similar technique with a different colour or a brighter colour. And it builds those layers upon layers. So you still see some of the previous layers through it, but you're adding to it all the time and creating this depth of fur and feathers. And this is how you paint fur and feathers. That's a bit bright there. So, might be too bright, I don't know. I might glaze over the top of that. Just tamp it with your finger like that if it's too bright, and it just takes it down a little bit. A few more of those highlights back into the feet and toes and the foliage, because it will dull down as it dries. So you need to go over it with several times before it stays bright. Dry that off quickly, and now with some glazing medium, this is open acrylic, golden open acrylic medium, glazing medium, and a little bit of transparent yellow there. And it looks so bright because I'm painting over white. It'll look a lot brighter than if I just painted with thick yellow paint. It looks much brighter when you do a glaze over white paint or a lightish area. I'll do the same with a little bit of this transparent red as well, just to make those. Now I need to dry that yellow off first, then I can use the red or the reddy orange, actually like a vermilion colour, and go over those legs. Now that's better, they've got a little more warmth to them. You can see how bright they are. I'll just add some of that warmth into the body as well, perhaps a little bit of yellow here and there, and it starts to create warmth and subtle tone changes. This is how you make subtle tone changes, is with glazing. All the old masters used to do this. This is how they created such wonderful, vibrant tones and colours, was by glazing. Okay, I'm using this dagger brush to put in some other little bits of foliage here and there, just a little few leaves dotted about. Very random, very impressionistically. And then some grey ones, bluey grey ones, that's Payne's grey and white. Just to create these, a sense of leaves in darkness, in the darker areas, in the shadows. Just lighten this area behind that part of the bird, just to make that stand out a bit more, like that. A few little more colours of that into these foliage area. And then I'll put some little highlights, little dots of highlights in there as well. Those little dots of light, once again, re-established. And on the feet, just a few little dots as well. I'll put a few there. So, just straight from the tube now. Thick paint, just little dots, like that. And I'll put one or two more into the foliage. And then what I like to do is get another old worn brush and mix it quite liquid, so that I can start splattering with it. I'll just put this little highlight in the top of start the splattering, and then put a few more highlights on. And then when that's done, that's the painting finished. If you have enjoyed this video and hopefully found it interesting and entertaining, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Be sure to click on the little bell icon if you wish to be notified of my latest videos. I am always interested in your questions and comments, and I do try to answer every one of them. Hopefully I will see you on my next painting video, so until then, have a lovely day and happy painting!